Alright, so on this video, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on NF's new album, and this may be the realest NF album review yet. But yo, before we get into that, thank you for checking out this video. My name is Ruslan. I am a hip-hop spoken word artist, entrepreneur, and this channel exists to encourage, empower, and inspire fellow artists and entrepreneurs. I'm on my way to meet my family at the park. So I know a lot of you guys are huge NF fans, and I haven't sat with a whole lot of his music. Listen to his last record came out. I can't name you a lot of his songs, so I'll be honest in that I haven't really been that much of a fan of the stuff he's been putting out, but I try my best to gauge art based on what the artist set out to do and the objective the artist had. First impressions, man, everything around NF, from the branding to the visuals to the photography, and the moment you hit play on this record is very well executed. The mixes are clean, the production is dope, it sounds big, it sounds powerful, it sounds like a refined, polished product. And I think that's what it is. And I know he's been around for a little bit. He used to be on a label called Exist. I think he went by something else back then and then kind of reinvented himself while he got on Capitol. The album is doing incredibly well. It's #1. Last time I checked overall on the iTunes charts, I think it's streaming really well. The big debate is it going to outsell Lecrae's album first week? I don't know. By all intents and purposes, it looks like it will. And I think my first impression is, man, the production quality of it, the mixing, what he's doing on it, really well done. I think my favorite tracks are 10 Feet Down, My Life, Dreams. That's overall, I'd say, just the impression of it is like, this is a good record. This is something that they set out to do. They set out to execute. They said they swung for the fences. The visuals are dope. The art is dope. Everything about it is excellent in what they were trying to do. Now, for me, I always look beyond just the surface. I look at a couple layers beneath. And I think another thing for me that I have to factor in, because I'm a big content guy, is what is the content of this record? And the overall content of a lot of NF's music is, he's kind of an angry guy. And I don't quite understand, I'm not too deep into his story. I know he had a rough childhood. I don't quite understand what makes him so angry. Why is he so angry? But this record definitely puts off that vibe, and the whole thing is, in a way, one-dimensional in its content. It's just him a lot in his head, talking to the family members that have heard him, the people that have heard him. And you could tell he's probably an introverted guy who is a bit pessimistic about life. And he says that on the record. I've always seen the negatives, since I was a kid. I've always seen the negative. I've always seen the negative side of things. And so I think the content, honestly, is hard for me to get behind. And I think what he's saying, I feel like you could take any of the verses from the record, with the exception of the one love song he had. You could take any of the verses from the record and it feels like you could just swap them out and they would work in terms of the cadences, in terms of the styles. And there's one song where he really shows his range. He's singing on it and he's doing some cool melodic stuff. But overall, it's content-wise, not the sounds, not the textures, not the production, but overall the content feels a bit one-dimensional to me. It feels like the whole record is about one thing, and I guess it's about perception, how he perceives himself, and the way and the aesthetic and the way that he's rapping. It's very clean, safe version of Eminem. It's I'm white and I'm angry, but I'm not cussing, and I'm faith-based. So, it's a safer alternative for kids. We've seen this before in the Christian hip-hop community with KJ52. Now, the difference with KJ52 is he was the very, colorful, animated version of the Christian Eminem, or at least he came out that way. I would say that he's evolved, and I think NF is the darker, more introspective version, more personal version of a Christian Eminem, and it just works. From a marketing standpoint, it works. From a branding standpoint, it works. I think he gets some creative license with his content that if a black artist did, it probably wouldn't get to say a lot of the stuff that he says, and it's very self-centered. It's very introspective. It's very about him. He has a couple moments where he's telling some cool backstories of his childhood, growing up in Michigan. Again, production's cool, execution's cool. Content's not really for me, guys. I will say that I enjoyed this record much more than I thought I would. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know I'd like it. I think from an artistic standpoint, it runs a little too long. It's like 16 songs, it's an hour. that's just too much for me, man. If I'm working out, you know, I'm trying to get through a record in 40, 50 minutes tops. And I think the record's too long. Maybe people don't know it, maybe because he came up in the phase where Eminem kind of settled in, but you can't remove that from him. He sounds a lot like Eminem. The tone of his voice, a lot of the cadences, the flows. The kid clearly has range, clearly has talent. And I think if anything we could take away from NF, and I would, as an encouragement to you guys, is anybody who has talent, has a vision, and can have a team around him and focus on the branding, and everything clicks. And by everything, I mean everything. I mean the look is there, the photography is there, the branding is there, the live show is there. I was watching some live show videos, just kind of educating myself on overall who he is. And you know, when everything aligns and everything clicks, you could have something special. And so there's a good team around him. I think he has a really good pulse on his audience. And the second encouragement I would give is anybody who can build that connection with his audience, build that core depth, right? Like if we look at the brands of Lecrae and NF, Lecrae has way more visibility, he has way more reach. He's very wide. He has 1 million followers on Instagram. I don't think NF has like 300,000 or something like that. But it looks like NF is going to sell more records and do more streams. And I think that's a byproduct of width over depth. Lecrae is wider. NF goes deeper, connects deeper with his core. And I think that's something that everybody can learn from him, is how can you go deeper with your audience, however big or small, whatever potential, right? Clearly he's on a major label, they're pumping some money behind it, they're doing some great marketing, but anybody on a level can dig deep and say, let me go deeper, let me give people more of me, let me be more engaged on social. With him, there's a mystery around him, the way he dresses, the photography. And so overall, man, good work. Be interesting to see what he does first week. I have a feeling it's gonna outdo Lecrae's record, but it's a cool time nevertheless. Critique will be the same thing as Lecrae's record, man. I don't really hear a whole lot of innovation. I hear some cool stuff sonically from the production end, but not really from him musically. And he's only 26, he's a young guy. I want to hear something more musically. I want to hear him go deeper sonically and really carve out his own lane to do something different, innovate, be more cutting edge. I think he's attempting to do it. I just don't think he's executing just yet, but I'm definitely going to be staying tuned. Again, and this is, for me, I'll be honest in that, like, I'm not a fan of I was a huge fan of Eminem, not a fan of the MGK, Yellow Wolf, fast rapper, angry rapper, really in my head vibes. It's just not my cup of tea, but all in all, man, good stuff, you know. Curious to see what we can learn from this in terms of building depth over width. It's not all about visibility. It's not all about trying to be a celebrity and being mainstream. It has a lot to do with, can you go deep with your audience? So anyway, let me know what you guys think. What do y'all think about the record? Y'all think I'm tripping? Does he not sound like Eminem? If he wasn't white, would he be as successful? I'm curious about these things because I think all those variables play a factor into it. The fact that he's on a major, the fact that he sounds like Eminem, the fact that he's white, and I think he's gonna continue doing well. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Like, thumbs up, tell a friend to tell a friend. King's Dream hats, new merchandise available, and we got that Jet Trouble single coming this week. So thank y'all so much. Peace.
I'ma ask Jesus in heaven now. With my reverend, I'm never heading back. Words he told me really matter though. I'm feeling like God is with my catapult. Here's the new beginnings. Here's the new beginnings. The pull up so independent. We pull up so independent. They say we too down for the victory. Way too down for the victory. I told them the past is the history. We could essentially move as we letting it go. Here's the new beginnings. Here's the new beginnings. The pull up so independent. We pull up so independent.